everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Student Fire Podcast, live from the Speak Fire studio. My name is Bobby Berg. I'm a motivational speaker for schools, and I'm here to help you live your best life today. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Student Fire, live from the Speak Fire studio. I'm your host, Bobby Berg. I'm a motivational speaker for schools, and I'm so pumped to just rock this day with you. How you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're checking this out. First off, thank you for rocking with us, y'all. Us, the Speak Fire team, we are so thankful for each and every single one of our listeners. Y'all are phenomenal. So last week, we covered verbal learners. We discovered what it is to be a verbal learner and some strategies that you can use to help you understand the information you're taking in. The week prior to that, we covered auditory learners. The week prior to that, we covered visual learners. Now, why am I reminding you all of this? Because this episode is going to feel a little short. It's going to feel a little almost like an afterthought, but it's because I don't want each person that's listening to this to just go, oh, I'm a verbal learner. That's all I can listen to. No. Like we said in the beginning, listen to all of the episodes on these learning styles and take elements from each and make it unique to you. At the end of the day, you're going to take elements from every single one of these learning styles because everyone is uniquely them. And I want you to be unapologetically you in how you learn. Cool? Cool. Kinesthetic learners. What does that even mean? Kinesthetic learners learn best through touch, through tactile feedback. You learn best by doing things while you're learning. I remember being in high school and I could never really understand how I learned. I never really understood what it took for me to remember information. Because I could sit there and do study sessions with people and understand the information great right then and there. I walk out the door, man, it's like that information was completely gone, like I hadn't understood a single bit of it if you tried to ask me, hey, so, I don't know, what's the powerhouse of the cell, right? Everyone's brain is just screaming, it's mitochondria, answer it correctly, kid. But I couldn't. And something my guidance counselor told me is she goes, I think it might be really helpful if you actually started messing around during class. And instantly I was like, yo, what? Bet. Easy. And she goes, no. I mean, you need to have something. You might try pacing around the classroom. Try standing up. Try playing around with your pencil while you're listening to lectures. And I said, what? Why? How is this going to help? So anyway, next class, I'm sitting there and I pulled my pencil out and I just started twirling it around my thumb. Just twirling it, messing around. And all of a sudden, I'm not really paying attention and I leave class. Well, the next day I come in and my teacher immediately throws out a pop quiz and I'm going, oh, dude, come on. So I pulled my pencil out, and before I even started, I just started twirling my pencil on my thumb, twirling it around. And I'm looking at my paper, and I'm going, why all of a sudden is it that this information is back in my head? I don't, what? But it worked. See, I didn't realize the kinesthetic behaviors that I needed to remember things. So as you can see, that really helped me out, because I tried something different, and that's what I want for each and every one of you. Try something different, see what happens. My kinesthetic learners, I want you to take flashcards and make them when you study. And I don't mean be efficient about this. I mean, we're going to go old school. We're going to kick it back to 1994, and I want you to pull out a pack of note cards and handwrite everything. I don't care if your handwriting looks like garbage. I don't care if it's beautiful. I want you to handwrite this. Why? Because you need that tactile feedback. Because when you're sitting there on a test and you blank, which you're going to eventually, you can have your scrap paper next to you. You can actually start scribbling out what you kind of remember, and it'll be right there on your scrap paper. That tactile feedback is going to help you tremendously. When you're taking notes, use a lot of visuals. I mean, I don't care what you have to do. Make concept maps. I used to do that all the time because I'm not very good at remembering timelines. So what I would do is when I'd be in my history classes, I would sit there and just write out a timeline of exactly when each person did something. It wouldn't be extravagant. It would be just like a little tick mark, and then, Abraham Lincoln did this in this year, and then tick mark. And then in this year, he did this, and I'm handwriting all of this. Because again, that tactile feedback is what you need. This is going to sound a little weird, but try acting out your examples. If you're a little bashful, or if you're a little shy, or you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of your buddies, I totally get it. Some of these study tips are like, oh, dude, Bobby, what are you talking about, man? I'm not going to do that. I get it. When I would study, I would act out examples. For instance, I could not remember the myth of Sisyphus to save my life. Now granted, it's a pretty simple concept, it's a pretty old story, but if you haven't heard of it, it's something as simple as this. This king tries to trick Zeus, it works. Zeus finds out and goes, oh, no, we're not playing this game, kid. So he gives King Sisyphus a labor, And for the rest of his life, he's going to take a rock and he's going to push it all the way up a hill. And Zeus enchanted the boulder so that when he got maybe 10 feet from the top, that boulder would roll all the way back down and he would never reach the top ever. No matter how hard he tried, no matter what he did, he was never going to reach the precipice. I get it. That doesn't seem like a very complex story. But for me, I just couldn't remember all the details. So what I would do when I was studying, I would read the myth out loud. I would then write it down word for word. I would type it out word for word. And then, here's where it gets a little crazy, I had a ball in my dorm room. I would grab this ball and I would push it all around my dorm room, back and forth as I was talking through what this was. Once I figured I got a pretty decent handle on it, I had a little stress ball and I would roll it in my hands back and forth. And for me, that really helped me understand. It gave me that feeling of rolling that boulder up the hill. That stress ball was my boulder because I couldn't remember this and I was going to roll that ball until I memorized the story word for word. Now, is that extreme? Sure. But guess what? Come that paper, I aced it. And my professor even said in the beginning of the class, he's like, listen, guys, I don't give out A's. If you're going to get like a 90 or a 91% on my paper, you are going to have to wow me. I got a 98 on that paper. And granted, during the test, it got weird. College was a different time, so I stood up, grabbed my stress ball, and was walking the length of the class with this ball, just messing around with it. It's weird, I get it, but it worked. Now granted, all of these things, I talked to my teachers extensively, and a couple times they said no, and a couple times they said, listen, as long as it's going to help you, and you're not doing it just to like be on YouTube and film it, sure. So work with your teachers, they're more than willing to help you. And last thing, make sure you have your totem. Make sure you have your thing. See, I loved the movie Inception. And every character that was in the dream world would have their own thing that was very unique to them that would help them remember if they were in a dream or if they were awake. No one else could know what it was. They weren't allowed to see it, touch it, anything. And it was very unique to you. As a lot of you know, I'm such a huge Batman fan. The movies, the comics, the TV show, it doesn't matter. I love it. Well, I have a Two-Face coin. It's a coin that has two heads on it, and I know every single ridge, every scratch, every indentation on that coin. I have it memorized. And whenever I would get stuck in what I was learning or get stuck during a test, I would just pull that coin out and mess around with it. And it helps me learn. It helps me remember things. It helps calm my anxiety down. Just messing around with that helps. So have a totem for yourself. It doesn't have to be anything big. It can be something small, but make sure that it is uniquely yours to help you in your next study session, in your next test, your next anxiety-inducing event. Have it with you. I hope this has been helpful for you. Y'all, trust me, I know this is a lot of information to take in. Go back to all of these episodes, re-listen to them, take notes on them, and really use them to help you become the best learner that you can be. Because at the end of the day, I've been talking to schools, I've been talking to superintendents, I've been talking to teachers extensively on how the podcast is helping them out. And a lot of the teachers are even saying, Bobby, I listen to you because your information helps me out. So for real, I'm here for you. I'm trying to help you become the best student you can be, both in and out of the classroom. So let's get after it. That's all I got for you. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Y'all, I hope this was helpful. If it was, hit me up on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or Facebook. Let me know what you thought. Better yet, hop in the reviews on the podcast you're listening to this on and leave a review there. I check all of them, and I will respond to everything that I can. Y'all, I love hearing from you. It's the highlight of my day. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. I hope you are rocking everything that you do. I hope nothing's getting in your way, and for whatever does get in your way, I know you're going to find a way to overcome it like you always do. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace! We are Speakfire. Who are we? We are a collective of inspirational, motivational, life-guiding speakers here to help you make your best life available and real today. For everyone that's looking for anything and everything leadership, you have to check out my guy, Michael Gingras, over at Leadership Fire. For my youth that are coming up, for those of you that have questions that need answers, go hit up Sean B. He's the host of Young Fire. killing the game every single Monday. For those of you that have questions that go a little deeper, for those of you that need that internal fire inside of you, not just sparked, but you need those flames fanned, go check out Aisha Thomas with Internal Fire. For my fathers, y'all, you are the real MVP. Go check out my guy Jody Cedric, the host of Father's Fire. For my champions, for my people that need to be the champion of not only their day, but their entire life, man, y'all gotta check out my man Neil Legend over at Champion Fire. For my students, doesn't matter if we're talking elementary, middle school, high school, college, my graduate students, all of you, for everything student empowerment, student leadership, and student productivity, tune in to Student Fire with me, your host, Bobby Berg. We are Speak Fire, live every Monday morning, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You gonna wake up with us? Let's get it. Whew, that was another awesome episode of the Student Fire podcast. Thank y'all for sticking around for this long, but I got a question for you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? See, when I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions, like how do I record an episode? How do I get my show to apps? Like, do I have to do it individually, or can I just have one place that does everything for me? And most importantly, how do I make money from my podcast? Is that even an option? Well, honestly, y'all, your answer is Anchor. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it is 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors that want to advertise on your podcast. Yes, you. That means you can get paid to make the podcast. You can get paid to podcast the right way. In fact, that's exactly what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. If you want to get down on this, if you want to make your podcast a reality and you want your success and your word to be a thing, man, you already know. Hop over to Anchor and give it a start. You won't regret it. Catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.
I am excited to bring you my new book, Trendsetter, 7 Steps to Radically Stand Out to Be the Best You. This book details my journey of coming to the United States and being excited to embrace the American culture. But unfortunately, my culture was not accepted, and I found myself being bullied as a young girl. And in this process, I decided that I wanted to disconnect from my culture to be more accepted into American culture. And through that process, I got so depressed from trying to fit in that I attempted suicide my freshman year in high school. So this book talks about the journey of what I did to become radically transformed to be the strong woman I am today. This book is something that's really going to enable the reader to understand and embrace who they are, embrace what makes them special, and become radically transformed. Get your copy today at becomingatrendsetter.com. Again, that is becomingatrendsetter.com, or check it out at my website at aishathomas.org.